All right. Got Marcus Bell in the building. What's going on, Marcus? Let me see here, man. Just getting situated. It is going down, man. Friday. Had to get on here and talk about this card, man. It's fight week. So let's get into it. Give me 1 second here. 1 second, we'll get started. I gotta put one more picture up here too, man. Just remind people we got another fight that's on the horizon. You know, fingers crossed, nothing happens. But gotta remind everybody this one's coming in October. Hang on. 1 second, we'll start here in a minute. All right. Where'd you go? All right. So what else we got going on this weekend? I know Friday is this big one here, Invicta FC. You know, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Hold on. There we go. UFC. Is there a card this weekend for the UFC? Yep, the 28th. Yep. Oh, but Barbosa's headlining too. Dang. Yeah. We got JJ Aldridge and Vanessa Demopoulos. That's one that kind of flew under the radar because it's supposed to be Tracy Cortez fighting, right? Yeah. There we go. One more thing here, then we can get the talking, because I will be on here till like 8 o'clock tonight for sure. I ain't gonna be on here forever. I say that all the time, but I wind up being on here forever. But yeah, let me put this up here too, just to remind y'all. This fight is going down to Marcus. This is the fight I'm looking forward to right here, Marcus. I already told you, man. Dern Rodriguez, you know, so I got to put that right there. Just to remind everybody, October 9th. This will be a big Saturday. It's a main event too. It's a main event. Better main event for WMMA than Misha Tate versus Ketlin Vieira, right? I think you can agree with me on that. For real. But yeah, man, let's get started, y'all. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to another CB99 live stream. It is fight week, man. This is one I've been looking forward to. We got Invicta FC 44 going down Friday, and it is a pay-per-view event. You know, I know some people might disagree with the pay-per-view event, but, you know, it's only $20. You know, they trying to make some money. They trying to make an attraction out of this, you know, bring some people over. Because I can agree with pay-per-views whenever a pay-per-view is, you know, they're not trying to break you. You know what I mean? Like, if pay-per-view is trying to break you, you know, that's just like straight up robbing a person, you know, especially in these times, you know. So they can put a little price on it just to kind of make people think, okay, maybe this might be worth something. You know what I mean? Like, it might be worth something. Like, put a $20 price tag on Invicta FC. That might make it a little bit tantalizing, where people say, okay, maybe this might be worth something. You know, okay, you got 2 title fights on here. I got $20. I can spare that. You know, that's what it's all about. Marcus said not looking forward to Hannah Goldie versus Emily Whitmire. You know you're going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. It might turn out to be a good fight, though. Mark, what's going on? Mark said Loma, Cheyenne Bay's in the works for November. I love it. I love it, man. Loma and Cheyenne Bay's, I love it. Boy, every time I open this Twitter, you know, I don't really get on there. Like, I don't have a solid account. I just, like, pull up, like, Twitter through Google. I'll just Google it and then pull it up through the app, and I just kind of like fish through it. I've been seeing some good WMMA news just about every day. Caitlin will have to show me that she's gotten over that knockout from Irene. Yeah. She does. Yeah, she will. But let me pull this stuff up here. So yeah, it's going down this Friday, man. We got Invicta FC 44, as y'all can see here, a new era. We got 2 title fights on the line. We got a strawweight title fight. This was a strawweight title fight I've been calling for somewhat, 50%. I've been wanting to see Emily Ducote fight for this strawweight title. And originally she was supposed to be fighting Montserrat Ruiz back in November of last year. But, the pandemic, certain things happened there, and, that got canceled. That was a fight I actually had sent to them. I was like, yo, y'all need to match up Ruiz and Ducote for this title fight. Then they were going to make it. So, yeah. Now it actually kind of steps it up a notch just a little bit because, Danielle Taylor does have a win over Ruiz. She's a former UFC fighter, much more experienced than Montserrat Ruiz. So, this actually probably might turn out to be an even better fight. Well, style-wise, Ruiz brings the action, but I think Danielle Taylor is going to bring something to the table where it makes it even a bigger challenge for Emily Ducote, right? So that's a good strawweight title fight, definitely. And this next one, bantamweight title fight, been looking forward to this one, man. Tanisha Tennant finally getting her shot at a title makes sense, right? I mean, after winning the tournament almost 2 years ago, she's finally getting a shot at the title. It was either sign her to the UFC, which they didn't do. They gave her a controversial loss in the Contender Series. They still had to make her fight for the Contender Series instead of just signing Tanisha. So back to Invicta FC, which is the best call. Get the title, taking on a solid opponent in Lisa Versosa. There's a while back when I thought it was going to be Tanisha Tennant versus Julia Stoyarenko. Didn't work out that way. Stoyarenko got that call to go back to the UFC. So now this is going to be a good one, man. You got a blood and guts fighter in Versosa, and then you have a very technical stand-up fighter, all-around technical fighter in Tanisha Tennant. I think she's really starting to get the tools she needs to become a well-rounded fighter. So Tanisha Tennant, definitely one to look out for. Been telling people that. But Versosa, with the experience and the heart, the grit, definitely not a pushover. You can't sleep on her in this fight. It's going to be tough. It is. Who else you got in here? You got Robert Henry. What's going on, Robert? Robert Henry said, let's see. Oh, he over here messing with Marcus. Talking about Roxy. I gotta put the Roxy up here too, man. No, can't upset y'all. Gotta put Roxy up there. Marcus might unsub if I don't put Roxy's picture up here because she's taking on one of the triple threat. So I gotta put that up there. Definitely. So yeah, this is gonna be a good night, man. Let me just go ahead and pull up the whole card. I'm gonna pull up the whole card for y'all. And I'm going to start from the bottom up, give y'all the names of all the fights. And please, everybody, keep your fingers crossed nothing goes wrong because we already had 2 changes on this card. 2 fights have already had issues, visa issues, and 2 fighters already had to pull out. 2 fighters already had to pull out, had to get in replacements. So thankfully, no fights have been canceled, but fighters had to pull out. So please pray that nobody else has to pull out because all the matches right now, well, they were perfect the way they were, but they're still good as long as the double header's not going to get messed up. So hey, keep them fingers crossed, y'all. But let's see, 9 fights here, and let me go ahead and pull up the update for y'all. So yeah, like I said, two not cancellations, but 2 fighters had to cancel and pull out. One being one of y'all's favorites. Y'all know, y'all are familiar with Mara Romero Barella, right? Former UFC flyweight Romero Barella. She had to pull out of her fight. And another Brazilian fighter, Monique Adrian, she had to pull out. Both of them had to pull out due to visa issues that deal with travel conditions that lead back to the pandemic. All right. So these two weren't supposed to fight each other, so it's not like their fight is canceled. You know, they were in separate bouts, but they had to pull out. Luckily, they got two replacements. So for Barella, you got Brogan Sanchez stepping in. Brogan Sanchez, you know, I've seen her fight a few times, so she's stepping in. And, well, excuse me. Emily King is stepping in. Brogan Sanchez is, you know, she's already been in there. You know, she's still staying on the card because Brogan was supposed to fight Barella. So Emily King is stepping in for Barella to fight Brogan Sanchez. All right. Y'all got me? Make sure y'all got me. So Barella's out of the Brogan Sanchez fight. Emily King is stepping in. Emily King is like one of them fighters that, you know, she always be smiling and she be whooping. You know, she'll give a whooping. She'll take a whooping to give a whooping. Let's put it that way. You know, she was on the she was on the brutal end of that one knockout against Melendez in Bellator about a year ago. You know, so she's been around. Emily King's been around. You know, she's the one that's always like smiling when she's dishing out a beating. Hang on, let me fix this. Gotta fix this window here blowing in. This air. All right. Had to fix something there. I was just reading what you were saying there, Robert. You talking about Mackenzie Dern. All right. So, yeah, man, let's pick up where I left off here. All right. So, like I said, man, these travel issues, too. You know, I was talking about last time, man, like these visa issues is making it tough for fights to happen, you know, and I was always I was thinking to myself, like, wouldn't it be smart on the UFC's part and Invicta's part to know where the fighter is? You know what I mean? Like, aren't they supposed to know where the fighter is at the time? Like, if they know if they're scheduling a fight in this particular place, then okay, like, if it's here, then you should know that fighter that you put on this card from, say, Brazil or Italy, you should know if they'll be able to fight. Like, their visa issues or whatever it is, it should be updated, right? That only makes sense. I don't get that. Because it's like they go in and schedule a fighter, and then they worry about the paperwork. So that's why you have a lot of pullouts. So that needs to be fixed firsthand. That's just my opinion. Like, and I've said this. I was talking to No Filter BJ on his channel. He'd asked me last week, what do I think about that? Well, I was like, fighters, if they're going to fight and they're signed to something like the UFC, that's going to be, basing a lot of their cards here for now with the way things are going, then they should just stay here. I think you have to stay where the work is. I know that sounds harsh to some people, but that's how it is. Same if you're in the military, you got to go wherever you're stationed. So I'm thinking, hey, if you want to make that money and you want to be a fighter, then you have to be wherever the fights are being put on. That way you can always answer that call. So we have 2 visa issues on this Invicta FC card. Thankfully, you had 2 fighters step in, So Emily King, like I said, she's stepping in. And let's see. Monique Adrian, since she's pulling out, Marissa Valencia is stepping in to face off against Katie Saul. So, yeah. Got all 9 fights. We still have 9 fights on the card. So hopefully it stays that way till Friday. Oh, no, I was just fixing something, Robert. You crazy. I was just fixing something. All right, so let's go down this card here. Like I said, I'm going to start up with the prelims and go into the main card. And just so y'all know, if you don't want to watch the whole card, you just say, I want to watch the prelims. The prelims is going to be on the Invicta FC YouTube channel. And that starts at, 8 o'clock. So let me pull that up. Here we go. All right, Invicta FC prelims. You got 4 fights on the prelims, like I said, on the YouTube channel. First fight is a featherweight fight between Kayla Yontev and Carlene Chandler. If you know that name sounds familiar, that's the sister of Chelsea Chandler. So her sister's making her Invicta FC debut. And, apparently, she's a she's a featherweight too, and she's a rough one too, just like her sister. So, this is her right here. I'll post a picture of her. When I first saw her, I was like, dang, is she still in high school or something? I was like, this girl look young. This girl looks way younger. Should she be fighting? That was my first take when I saw her. I was like, dang, she still looks like a kid. But she's gonna be fighting at featherweight though. So that's Chelsea Chandler's sister. So she's gonna be making her debut. Just so y'all see her. And the next fight, we have atomweight fight Katie Perez versus Natalie Salido. Then another atomweight fight, Katie Saul versus Marissa Valencia. Valencia, she was in that atomweight tournament. She was in that Invicta atomweight tournament a few months ago. And we got a flyweight fight, Caitlin Sammons and Helen Peralta. I'm familiar with both of them. Caitlin Sammons, I think she had fought Chantel Coates like a couple years ago. And she scored a win over Chantel Coates. Chantel Coates almost knocked her out in that fight if she didn't take the fight to the ground though. So yeah, she's a solid flyweight. And Helen Peralta, she brings that pressure and that action. So yeah. Yeah, Robert. Her sister probably gonna be the same way. She probably gonna bring it, real. Okay, so those are the first 4 fights on the prelims. Moving up to the bantamweights in the main card, So if you got $20 or you got $19.99, dish out $19.99 for the pay-per-view. It starts at 10 p.m. You can order it on the Fight app, FITE. The Fight app, that's where you can get some of the BKFC cards and like some other combat sports stuff. You can watch it there, or you can watch it on let me pull up that app. That new channel, what is it? AXS TV. You can buy the pay-per-view on AXS TV as well. So first fight on the main card, bantamweight fight, Serena De Jesus. Y'all know her. Marcus knows her. She's one of Roxanne Modafferi's training partners. Serena De Jesus. She was in that bantamweight tournament, and she had lost to Tanisha Tennant. And she's taking on former UFC fighter Lauren Mueller. Lauren Mueller, she went on like a 3 or 4 fight losing streak in the UFC before they cut her. So she had to take a step back to Invicta to work on some things. So yeah, man, this is probably the best place for Lauren Mueller. All right, so next fight we got is strawweight fight, Jodie Esquibel. Got another one. Got another former UFC fighter taking on Liz Tracy. Liz Tracy, I seen her fight at like flyweight though. I think she's gonna be kind of a big strawweight. Because she fought Victoria Leonardo, and who else did she fight? She fought a few flyweights. Like I didn't know she could make 115 though. But Jodie Esquibel, you seen her fight in Invicta. She's fought Alexa Grasso. Who else did she fought before she was in Invicta once, and then she went to the UFC. Now she's back. And she went on like a 3-4 fight losing streak before, they brought her back to Invicta FC. All right, so third fight, which was supposed to be Mara Romero Barella taking on Brogan Sanchez. You have the flyweight fight, Brogan Sanchez and Emily King. And, of course, co-main event, bantamweight title fight, Lisa Versosa versus Tanisha Tennant. And then you got the title fight, Emily Ducote and Danielle Taylor, which really, man, these are going to be some competitive fights. I think the Ducote Danielle Taylor is going to be more so competitive. I think when Tanisha gets into a groove with Versosa's style, it can definitely favor her. But it's going to have to be, Tanisha Tennant really putting on a clinic here, really sticking to her IQ. Because Versosa, she can draw you into a firefight. She likes to trade. She likes to clinch up, make it a rough and ugly fight. So Tanisha really has to stick to her game plan for this one, Emily Ducote and Danielle Taylor. Ducote has some solid stand-up. She has solid stand-up, but her ground game, I think her ground game is underrated. Emily Ducote, she's very solid in the top position when she's in the guard, and she can really put the weight on you and that pressure on you and grind you out. And she's very slippery. She can transition to an armbar just like that. You know what I mean? If you go back and look at her performance against Kanako Murata, I don't know, man. I think she beat Kanako Murata. Really, man, I think she did. I went back and watched a couple times. Ducote won once, Murata won, and then the next couple times I watched, I think Emily Ducote did enough to beat Kanako Murata. She about submitted her 4 or 5 times in the fight. So Emily Ducote, she's been losing some and winning some, but she's really been developing now. She's been really adding more to her arsenal. Her stand-up is solid. Her stand-up was giving Kanako Murata fits. I don't know if he'll do the same thing with Danielle Taylor, because Danielle Taylor is pretty good with her boxing. But the one thing that might come into play here is the height disadvantage. That's where Ducote might have more success with her straight punches. So I'm expecting a good fight. I don't know if there's going to be a stoppage in that fight because, Danielle Taylor is pretty strong and she's tough. Zhang Weili had a rough time with Danielle Taylor when it came down to trying to take her down. She's tough. Montserrat Ruiz didn't take Danielle Taylor down to maybe the third round. Danielle Taylor's strong. Her takedown defense is good. When she clinches up, She knows how to break it. She's pretty good at that. I think if she just learns how to fight on the inside a little bit more, maybe she could, rack up some more wins and get back into the UFC. I think she would be a dangerous fighter. If she could just kind of put everything together for a fighter of her height. Really, man, I'm just expecting some good fights. Like when they're this competitive, it's really hard for me to even pick. Like this is a night I'm not gonna pick. I ain't gonna pick anybody except the main card. Except the main fights. Scratch that. I'm not gonna do any picks for like the prelims. The first 4 fights and the first 3 fights on the main card. I'll do picks for the title fights. If y'all really want to know. So if you really want to know who I think will win the strap in the bantamweight fight, in the strawweight fight, I'll give you that in a minute. Marcus said Casey O'Neill has a fight coming up. I wonder who it is. Ooh, probably Jillian Robertson or somebody. I bet you Casey O'Neill gonna be fighting Jillian Robertson. Or who would they put her in there with? I don't know. Hold that thought. All right, so for the bantamweight title fight, I'm gonna go with Tanisha Tennant. I think Tanisha has the skill here. She's dealt with big fighters. She knows how to control from the outside. Good kickboxing. If she's really, been grinding things out and with her training partners like Sarge Eubank and Caitlin Chikagan, she'll know how to use her length like Caitlin. She'll know how to, control on the ground like Sarge. So hopefully a lot of that's rubbing off on her. So we'll see a solid Tanisha go in there, fight her fight, use her jab, put her punches together, and don't get drawn into a firefight. Just use angles and stay on the outside. Because I feel like Lisa Souza, she's gonna be coming with the thunder. She's gonna be looking to let off combinations and press the fight. And you really have to tag her to get the respect. Just know that one shot's not gonna do it. But I think Tanisha's got the skill. She's got the skill to control this fight. So I'm gonna go with Tanisha. Yeah, I think she's gonna win this fight. For Dakota and Danielle Taylor, this is a tough one, man. This one is tough because Emily Dakota, I think she's just been getting better. I think she's just been getting better as a fighter. But that's not to say that Danielle Taylor's not getting better. I think Danielle Taylor has made some nice improvements, and I think some of the experience that she's shown in the past, is definitely gonna come into play in this fight. I think Danielle Taylor, if I had to pick out of these two, I think physically she may be a little bit stronger than Emily Dakota. I think she may be a little bit stronger. Now, I think the ground game of Emily Dakota is better. I think her jiu-jitsu is better. But I think it's going to come down to how she executes it in this fight. If she can't get Danielle Taylor down to the ground, it's going to be a long night for her. And it's hard for me to pick against experience. It really is hard for me to pick against experience. So, especially when you have two fighters that almost match up evenly, but the one thing that keeps the other, out of that, complete, just keeps them out of that box, it would have to be Danielle Taylor. So I'm going to go with Danielle Taylor in this one. Yeah, I'm going to go with Danielle Taylor. It's going to be close, though. It's probably going to be like a split decision. I really don't see either fighter stopping each other or submitting each other in this one. I think if Emily Dakota was to get a takedown, I can see Danielle Taylor popping back up. She's hard to submit. She's a tough fighter. So, yeah, those are my picks. I think Tanisha's going to win. I think Tanisha's going to win a decision against Versosa. Possibly stoppage. Possible stoppage if she can pick her apart. If she can expose that defense. Of what defense Versosa has. Versosa gets hit. She's open. So I could see Tanisha Tennant winning that fight. And Danielle Taylor, like I said, got the experience. I got to go with her. She's fought at the high level before, so I think she can do this. Yeah, so those are my picks, though. I mean, who do y'all got in the title fights? Like, y'all ain't got to pick for everybody on this card, because I'm not. I'm just going to sit back and watch these fights. But who do y'all got? Lisa Versosa or Tanisha Tennant? In a strawweight fight, who do y'all got? Emily Ducote or Danielle Taylor? What do y'all think? Who do y'all got? Yeah, Marcus got the keys to victory. That's right. I think Jillian Roberts would be a test for Casey O'Neill, though. That's going to tell us how good, even on the ground she is. That's going to tell us what type of skills she has. If she has even the striking to keep somebody like Jillian Roberts off of her. Casey O'Neill, yes, I understand, Robert, if you're undecided, definitely, because, there's still a lot to learn on her level. Like, she's unranked. She's an unranked fighter, so it's all right, if you can't figure out if she's good or she's going to be good. I think with what she's bringing, that's why some fighters, when they're first signed, they differ from, they're separated from, like, the fighters I'm talking about here, like the triple threat. You know what I mean? Like, they're separate because, see, Robert, you're having trouble deciding how good she is, right? Well, when you see somebody like Manon Fiorot or Taila Santos or Miranda Maverick, yeah, the jury's still out. Like, you still have to decide, like, okay, I don't know how good they are because of the competition they're fighting, but the skills they show against the opponents they are fighting, they're going in there blasting fighters out. They're advancing. Well, Taylor, she did lose her first fight against Marlon Barella, but since then, she's been on a good path. Manon Fiorot, she stopped her two opponents, and she made it look easy. And the way she made it look easy was with her, her technique, her stand-up game, her strength and her power. So she has a lot going for her. Like, when you look at somebody like Casey O'Neill, she's winning, but what is it about her that you're still undecided about, right? You know what I mean? Like, I understand where you're coming from, because it's like you can't really pinpoint like one thing that stands out about her. See, I can pinpoint certain things about Manon or Miranda or Taylor that make me say they could be in the top 10 eventually. But when you look at Casey O'Neill, and it's not a knock to, like I said, because everybody has a grow. Not everybody has, like a it factor. Lauren Murphy doesn't really have an it factor. She's like a hard working type fighter. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's some fighters you can say when they first come in, you're undecided about because there's something you really can't pinpoint on, and they need a better test standing in front of them, Yeah, because I am, out of all the unranked prospects that are on the way up, you got Manon Fiorot, Casey O'Neill, and just even the ones that are on the lower rank, like Miranda and Taylor, they tend to look a little bit more dangerous. They do. Some will move faster, some won't. Maybe she'll need more fights than them to get into the top 10. That's just how it is, Right. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah. See, you get it, Robert. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's how I gauge these three fighters I talk about, triple threat. That's how I gauge these fighters. Like, some people think I'm overrating them, or some people are saying I'm saying they're gonna beat Valentina in their next fight. No way am I saying that. But it's like you said, some fighters show A-level attributes early, and some D-level. Some show D-level to C-level all in one fight. Right. Like, Casey might look mediocre now, but it might take her more fights than it did a Manon Fiorot, because Manon's a little bit older. Manon's just a little bit more polished, and she's a little bit more, maybe a little, she's been committed to what she was doing longer, right? So she's got that going for her. Miranda, same with her. Miranda's young, but maybe certain things just stick, and she's finding her place a little bit more because that's just her mind. That's just in her IQ. She's a smart fighter, smart person outside of the octagon as well. Taila Santos, another big danger, has a lot of experience before she came into the UFC, and she's been putting it together before she got into the UFC. That's why I say fighters, what they done before the UFC, pre-UFC, you have to count that. A lot of people don't want to count that, but you have to count that. Hang on, yo. Let's try to. Summertime. Doggone I don't know how they get in. So it's a little ant crawling. It's just a little ant. It was getting on my nerves. I had to thump it. If one lone ant just walking. Fire ants. I think he got separated somehow. All right, so yeah, Robert, consistency, improvements. That's what you look for. TJ said not all prospects are on the way up, though. I see O'Neal similar to Robertson and DLR, not on that level yet, even. Right. Yeah. That's another good point because some prospects are just there. Like, you making a good point there, because it's like that kind of goes to what Robert's saying as well, because Robert's saying he's undecided. So kind of undecided, or you just feel like, oh, this person's not on the way up, because you're not seeing what early skills are being shown, like, said fighters I mentioned the first time. Oh yeah, let me check y'all's who do y'all got? Okay, so Robert Henry said he's got Tanisha Tennant by UD, and he's got Danielle Taylor. Marcus Bell said he's got Danielle Taylor and Tanisha Tennant. Mark said he has Tennant and Taylor for me. Okay. All right. So everybody pretty much thinks Tennant and Taylor got this one. Yeah, it's hard to pick over experience with Danielle Taylor, though, man. She's solid. Emily Ducote's good, too, though. Mark said Manon has a lot of hype. It looks like a great prospect, but who she's beat. Again, it's not hype because she's still unranked, and it's the skills that we're looking at. Like, it's hype when you say she'll beat Valentina, but it's more so potential when you're just basing her off the level she's on, and that's what I'm basing it off of. Like, she looks like a great prospect right now, and the reason she looks like a great prospect is because she's not struggling with these fighters on her level. Like, if she struggled with Victoria Leonardo, or if she went the decision with Ricci, you would be saying she's not a good prospect. You would say that, oh, she needs work, but she's doing what she's supposed to do. She's looking good on the level that she's on. So it's time to take her to the next level. It's not even really about, at this point right now, it's not about saying, oh, like, is it the best person in the division? Like, because when you first come in, everybody has to kind of find out where they stand. Like, third tier, fourth tier, unranked fighters, they still have something to prove. So that's what it all comes down to. You go in there, make that statement. That's what it's about. The higher level you get, then it's going to start coming down to, okay, this person really stands for something. There's a lot of stock behind this person. They got experience, you know. I just think Manon Firo looks better, and it's time to test her against Amira Buena Silva, you know. And if she looks good against her, we can't say, well, it's hype. You know, we take her to the next level. You know, take her to the next level. She beats Andrea Lee or somebody and looks good. Gets into the top 10. You know, I think then we can start safely saying that we got us another contender on the way up, right? BP said you see a lot of people saying Roxy will beat Taylor because of the win one lose one trend. Roxy getting smoked. Yeah, man, I know. Yeah, BP. I know that trend. Everybody think it's gonna come down to a trend, but I think Santos is gonna kill that trend. Ain't gonna be no trend that night. You know, ain't gonna be no trend that night. Yeah. So let's talk about that. You know, so those are my picks for Invicta FC. Let's talk Roxy Taylor, man. First of all, I gotta say, look, I am glad the UFC. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them that they finally took notice of the obvious. You know, let's make this fight. You know, let's go ahead and make this fight, right? Roxy needs a dance partner. Taylor needs a dance partner. So we got that, and it's happening on a good night with 3 other flyweight fights. Very good. Shevchenko, Murphy, Calvillo Andrade, Firo, and Buena Silva. Good show. Definitely. Yeah, that's a good one, man. And you got Taylor on there too, so that's a good show, man. 2 of the triple threat on 1 card. That's right. So yeah, what do y'all think though? Like Roxy, like, let's see, what can we talk about with this fight? Like Roxy, there was a couple things that I was thinking about the other night when I was just looking at a couple of Roxanne's fights. I was like, Roxanne, you know, like BP brought up, you know, she goes on that win-loss pattern, but it really comes down to who she's fighting. Like, it really comes down to the styles. Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring up the styles. Like, if you look at who she's fighting, she goes on that pattern because they'll put her in there with somebody that's completely helpless on the ground or, you know, just inexperienced, and she'll look good, right? Because Roxy's a fighter that a lot of people count out. Like Macy, she was kind of thinking this was going to be an easy fight. You see what happened, right? So if you kind of going in with that mind frame, like this is easy, I can knock her out, and you have no ground experience, and your jiu-jitsu is just not where it should be, Roxy's there. You know, same as she was in the Antonina Shevchenko fight. Like, the Shevchenko fight was a split decision, but I think that, you know, Roxy, she beat her pretty solid. Shouldn't have been a split decision. You know, she pretty much gave her all she could handle in that fight. But if you go back and look at the fights where Roxy was coming up, you know, more than short, and she was just dominated, it came down to them big, strong physical fighters like Lauren Murphy, Viviane Araújo. Even if we want to go all the way back to Sarah Eubank. You know, Sarah Eubank, when did they fight? It was like 3 years ago. You know, that they fought, was it Tough House? Let me make sure I got that right. When did they fight? Yeah, because I want to just go ahead and look at her resume as well here, because just kind of want to study the pattern of fighters that she loses to. Yeah, Sarah Eubank. Yeah, it was before the Shevchenko fight. That's right. So, yeah, going all the way back to that fight, or if you want to go back to the Nico fight, wow, like, study the win-loss pattern. Everybody she loses to is a fighter that's big, physical, strong, and they know how to use their weight. They know how to use their size. Everybody else kind of waits for Roxy to dictate the pace. they always let her lead. Like, let's go back to Nico. So going back to the Tough House finale, Nico, rough, rugged, strong, won every single round just about, right? She controlled Roxy. Too strong, too physical, just, mauled her. Next fight she won was Barb Honchak. Barb Honchak pretty much out the door at the time, older fighter. And again, another fighter that gives her a little bit too much respect, where she can dictate the pace, switch levels, take you down, mount you, and land that ground and pound. Sijara Eubank, another loss. What type of fighter is that? Another big, strong, scrappy, physical fighter. Great wrestling. Her jiu-jitsu was on the par, almost on that level with Roxanne. So got controlled again. Physical fighters control her. So she wins against Shevchenko. Shevchenko, just flat-footed in that fight. Never really got her jab going. Gave Roxy too much respect, too much space. Roxy takes it down to the ground, and she controls that fight. Jennifer Maia, big, strong fighter, beast. Macy Barber, inexperienced. She wins that fight. Lauren Murphy, physical, beats her. Andrea Lee, not physical enough in that fight, kind of gassed out. She lost. Viviane Araújo, big, strong, physical, beats her. Right? So that's the pattern they put her on. Like, it's not really just the win-loss pattern that she's just developing. It's the style they put her in there with. Everybody they put her in there with that fights at a range, rangy fighters that give her time to think, she can beat them. With no ground game, she beats them. No takedown defense, she beats them. Big, strong, physical, athletic fighters, they beat her, every time. That's just how they've been putting her they've been putting her in the octagon with every time. So, with that being said, the pattern's probably going to die here. the pattern's probably going to die here because she's going back in there with another physical fighter in Taila Santos, who I think will control inside, tie clinch, the ground, the range. I think she'll control pretty much all of it to me. Taila Santos, if we go back and look at her fight with Molly McCann, got hit a little bit in that fight. She took a couple right hands from a good boxer, Molly McCann. So that's something that she'll need to look out for Roxy. Roxy's striking is decent. Roxy has decent striking. I still stand by that. Told BJ, look, Roxy's striking is better than Montana's. I mean, what do y'all think? Not many people are going to agree with me on that. Roxy striking is better than MDLR. I said it. It's gotten her wins. It's gotten her takedowns. I said it. I said it again, basically. I'm going to stand by that. Roxy striking can be effective in this Taila Santos fight. If Taila comes in being too physical and too pressure and trying to meet her in the middle, she will get touched. But it's going to be on Taila to make that adjustment, to switch levels or counter, So I see this just being a good statement fight for Taila Santos. This is what she needed, a top 10 opponent. I'm ready, man. I'm just ready for this night. We got good 4 flyweight fights on this thing. Hey, not one of them are a mismatch. Hang on, let's see. Okay, what are y'all saying here? Let's not forget Grasso has a big fight ahead of her. Yeah, Jojo. BP said, I think if an underdog WMMA going to win on the 266 card, it's Myra or Calvillo. I think Myra Bueno Silva has more of a chance to beat Manon than Calvillo has of Andrade. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't know if Calvillo can shut down Andrade on the inside. I don't know if she has enough power in her striking to shut down Andrade. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I gotta go back and study or something. But off top, I don't see Calvillo shutting anything Andrade that does down. Mark said, I'm a Manon fan and she's a huge threat, but I just need to see her beat a better opponent to get a proper read on her. Yeah, skill-wise, I like what I see, but yeah, I definitely want to see her in there with a better opposition, definitely, I think the level she's on, it looks good, and you'll see. You will see September 25th. Mark Robinson, what's up? Mark Robinson said, I'm still trying to figure out how bad Arujo did Roxy. Roxy had no answers. Right. Not until that third round, whenever Arujo gassed, As long as you got the gas tank, you good, man. High Five said Roxy can handle Macy, but Maverick got slowed in the third round with Macy. Don't count out Roxy against Santos. No, I ain't counting her out. But I know what type of styles can beat her, though. Like if you're very physical, like Lauren Murphy, Sarge, all the people I just named, as long as Santos doesn't gas, I think she's good. But yeah, you never count Roxy out. That's like rule number 1. You never count her out. BP said I taped Manon and Myra past bouts, but man, I have a feeling Myra could get a lucky submission. Manon loves to grapple with a girl for no reason. Yeah, she will go down to the ground sometimes, a little too much for my liking. Like, I was looking at, some of her early fights. I don't know about this fight, though. She might not even get that in her mind, because y'all know Tabitha Ricci's a black belt in BJJ. She's a small girl. She didn't take her down. She could have, right? So maybe she thought about it. She said, Tabitha Ricci is small, but she could submit me because she's a black belt. Black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She said, no, thank you. I'm going to just stop you. So maybe Manon Firo is going to use her IQ and just keep it standing. So that's what I'm thinking. Myra Bueno Silva coming in with that shootbox style, like I always say to, she comes in, put that pressure. She'll take a hit to give a hit. I think Manon has a better chance of controlling the stand-up and staying comfortable on her feet for however many rounds she needs. And there's no reason to go to the ground. There shouldn't be any reason for her to grapple in this fight. Manon will climb the rank to the top next year. Yeah, I think she will. High Five said Manon's ground and pound is some of the Whaleys. They throw heavy shots to make their opponent bleed and give up. Right. Yeah. Whaley will get you in that side control and grind you with them elbows. She be dropping elbows on your head, boy. For real. Robert Henry says 70-30 Andrade, 60-40 Santos. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I like those odds. Yeah, that's pretty much. That's how I feel about Roxy, 60-40 Santos. Because, yeah, you can never count her out completely. TJ said Roxy has far more luck than Lauren. She could get another miracle win, no doubt. Yeah. Also, I think Grasso loses to JoJo. I just don't see the warrior in her. Looking at the clock in the Macy fight. Right. Like, JoJo goes to war. Like, it's a gift and a curse when you fight like that. Like, JoJo is in there with Jessica I. She in there with Lauren Murphy about to get submitted. She ain't looking at the clock. She's fighting every minute. Might not be the smartest sometimes, but, she'll bang with you. She was dogging out with Jessica I. You over here looking at the clock. Come on. You should be trying to stop this girl. Macy in here clubbing, throwing wild shots. Come on. Go ahead and stop the girl. I think that might be her downfall in this fight. I'm kind of leaning towards JoJo in this fight. I think JoJo is more committed to kicks and punches, not just boxing. And I think the kill switch might be the problem for Grasso in this fight. Yeah, so what do y'all think? Answer that question. Who has better striking, Roxy or MDLR? I say Roxy. Y'all answer that. Who do you think? Who do you think, Robert? Who do you think, Marcus? TJ? Who do y'all think? Who do you think has better striking, Roxy or Montana? Answer that question before I get off here tonight. Like, I'm going with Roxy. Yeah, so we got a good night coming up Friday for sure, man. I don't see JoJo getting stopped. I really don't see JoJo getting stopped though. Like, that girl got a tough chin. I remember Courtney Casey, that fight where she got rocked in the first round and she came back. That was crazy, man. Roxy versus Barber. Yeah, somebody gets stopped though. I mean, Macy comes straight in. She might eat one of those front kicks to the face. Eat a combination. You know, she might get busted up in that fight. High Five said Ricci had no answers against Manon. Manon is stronger, not because Ricci's a strawweight, but Manon's power and technique have class. That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point because Ricci was standing in there. Ricci landed a couple punches on Manon Fiorot, but I think what she was landing and the technique she was using, that would have hurt anybody. You know, that's a good point. Like, Manon was controlling that fight, and I think she would control it with a lot of the unranked fighters the same way. Like, if that was Jillian Robertson, Manon would have controlled it the same way because of her technique. You know, she can walk you down and keep good range, throw them side kicks to the body like a good long jab. That's just all around technique. Like, what she showed in that fight is what she showed in the Victoria Leonardo fight. You know, take them apart and then take them out. Take them apart, take them out. That's another saying I got. Take them apart, take them out. Marcus said Roxy. Yeah, I think Roxy does. I think Roxy. She just said MDLR has worse striking than a woman who can't even see what she's swinging at in there. Think about it. Think about it. Worse striking than a woman who can't even see what she's swinging at in there. Damn. Like, if you give her a target, yeah, she can hit. But, like, if she has to look for it, there's really no technique behind it. High Five said Roxy could exchange punches with Araujo, but can Montana do the same with Araujo? Roxy's boxing is better than Montana's. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say, man. I was like, yeah. That's just the point I was trying to make. That's why I say it's her striking better. But Roxy at least got a round against Araujo. You know, at least she won one round, like, with her overhand right. But Montana landed on Araujo. She landed a few good jabs, but she didn't win any rounds, man. Araujo pieced Montana up every single round. And her striking looks good if you're standing in front of her. You know what I mean? Like, if you give her something to hit, yeah, she will hit it. And that's my point about Roxy. Like, you know, Roxy, I'm more worried about what she... this is another point I want to bring up. Like, let me tell y'all this. I think I'm more so worried about Roxy striking in this fight than I am her ground game in the Taylor fight. That'll tell y'all something, right? I'm more worried about what she can do with her hands on Taila Santos than what she can do on the ground. Yeah, man. I'm just telling y'all, man. That's how I feel. I'm more worried about the hands than the actual ground game, because I think Taylor has enough IQ and skill and strength and athleticism to get out of anything Roxy presents when it comes to submissions. You know what I mean? I don't have much fear in that. Like, I know she has the strength to get out of. You won't catch Taila on her back. I know she's she's like a white belt or a blue belt or something like that. But I think she makes up for a lot with her athleticism, and I don't think it's going to be a problem at all, man. It's the hands. Roxy's hands might be a problem here. Now, I'm not saying her hands are great. You know what I mean? But I mean, they're going to be, there will be some problems in there. They could be. Robert said, I think Roxy has better striking than Montana, more consistent with the strike select. Montana's awkward movement creates more issues for fighters. Thank you. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. TJ said, but is MDLR a better striker than Jillian Robertson, though? Oh, man. Take your pick, TJ. I don't know. Shoot, I can't even answer that, man. Take your pick on that one. Oh, man. Okay, so let's see, y'all. That was what I really wanted to just talk about tonight, was just the Invicta FC card and Taila and Roxy, really. I want to cover the card with y'all. So, yeah, we got 9 fights. It starts at 8 p.m., like I said. Prelims, YouTube channel, Invicta FC. Y'all want to watch 4 good prelims? That's where you go. YouTube, Invicta FC. Get your 4 fights in, and then dish out $20. Dish out your $20 for the pay-per-view. I am. I'm going to watch it for sure. Come on. Yeah, I'm going to watch 5 good fights on the main card. Gotta support. Tanisha's on this card. Gotta support Danielle Taylor, Emily Ducote. Support some of these fighters. And they wanted to put a number on it, like I said, this time, just to kind of, pull in an audience to make you say, oh, what's this? What's worth paying for? Must be. It's only $20. Got some other people over here from MMA. MMA fans wanting to see this. Maybe it is worth something. $20 ain't gonna break you. Come on, that's cheaper than a bare knuckle card. Yeah. She's a brown belt. Santos is a brown belt. Sorry. Yeah. High Five said Roxy's also tough. Hasn't been KO'd by a puncher before. Does Taila have KO power? I think Taila has KO power. I think Taila Santos can win on the ground against Roxy. If she ever gets on top. Yeah, she stopped some girls early in her career. She stopped some girls, pre-UFC. She has some power, in her kicks. Hands, I don't know so much if you're going to see, like, some kind of crazy knockout head kick or anything like that. Roxy's too awkward the way she moves, Dang, Marcus, he said nothing but another verse. Well, that means it's time to switch, training camp sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes training with your significant other, may not be the best thing in the world, It depends. I mean, if you see changes and improvements, yeah, it's fine. But if you don't, it might be time to find another camp sometime. Got to separate the two. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so early look. Since I posted it up here, what do y'all want to talk about? Darren Rodriguez. All right, so October 9th, Saturday, Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez, going to get it in. Strawweight fight you all been looking forward to. Answer me this question. How did Mackenzie Dern get to number 5 and Marina Rodriguez number 6 all of a sudden? I mean, they both fought. And, Yeah, they both fought around the same time. April was Mackenzie Dern. She beat Nina Azarov. Was at number 6. Marina, of course, she moved up to flyweight to fight Michelle Waterson. And they kept her at number 5. I think they elevated her to number 5. But why did she move down? What did Mackenzie Dern do to jump over Marina Rodriguez? I mean, I like Dern. I like Mackenzie Dern, but don't try to take Marina Rodriguez's spot. You know what I mean? But this is a much-needed fight. This ain't a title eliminator, like I said before. Not at all. It's not a title eliminator, but I think it's a title eliminator. That's one of those fights that means whoever wins this fights for a title eliminator. They don't fight for the title next. Maybe the winner of this fight fights Joanna or Carla Esparza, because it looks like Yan Xiaonan is going to get her rematch. I'm gonna stop. I can't anymore. It's about money. Zhang Weili's probably gonna get her rematch. There's just so much invested in a fight with Zhang Weili and Rose fighting a second time. So I'm not even gonna keep on. Now I know Carla deserves it, but hey, what are you gonna do? So with that, the winner of Marina and Mackenzie, to me, should fight Joanna next or Carla Esparza. But the way I look at it, man, whoever blasts who out, I think Dern or Rodriguez, if Dern wins, I could see them trying to make Dern next in line for a title. I could see that. I really could. Yeah, TJ, I seen that fight. Yeah, Stoyarenko had Versosa leaking. Yeah, that was a good fight. She had to get she got a gang of stitches. Let's put it that way. She got a gang of stitches from that fight. Right on the forehead. Down the forehead, down to about the bridge of the nose, man. Yeah. Good fight. But really, Dern Rodriguez to me is 50-50. I kind of lean towards Marina in this fight. I won't say kind of. There's some things about Rodriguez I think she could take this one home, man, because Dern, she's getting confident in her striking, which is a good thing, but I think there are some things she might try to take advantage or think she could take advantage of as far as her overhand right. And I think Marina Rodriguez, her being a much better polished stand-up fighter, she'll see a lot of this stuff coming. If you want to stand and bang with her, that's a no-no. Ebos figured that out the hard way. You don't stand and bang with her. Dern might want to go in there and trade. You just don't know. So if she tries to go in there and trade, you're going to eat something big out of Rodriguez, man. A big right hand or something. So really, it's going to come down to whoever can use their strength. Mackenzie Dern going to have to make sure her wrestling is on point to get the fight to the ground. The ground is where she's going to need this fight. Marina needs this fight to be standing. We've seen her have trouble with fighters like Waterson. Waterson being a small fighter, but she was able to control her on the ground. Calvillo controlled her on the ground. Carla Esparza. So she has to stay away from stay away from these takedowns. You have to have that solid takedown defense like Joanna if you're not going to be able to grapple. High Five said Roxy's always trying for a dive to take her opponent down. That's making her opponent unsure of going forward. That makes Roxy's opponent look different when they fight her. Roxy's not awkward. That makes Roxy's opponents look different when they fight her. I don't really see her taking them chances like that with trying to shoot in for a dive like that on Taila Santos. I don't know. You might catch a knee or something. Like, she'll do that against, like I said, she does that against the right type of fighters. If you give her range, she'll try to take you down like that. She will try for those dives. If you're Andrea Lee or you're Barb Honchak or you're Antonina Shevchenko, she'll have that space. But if you're big, she ain't going to dive like that. You know, she ain't going to dive and be successful like she tried that with Lauren Murphy. You know, Lauren Murphy ragdolled that, you know. So you try that with a big fighter like Taila Santos, no. Mark said UFC rankings are BS. I don't pay attention to them anymore. Yeah, really, like, I do to a certain extent because I want to know what's going on, and they say something. They will give you some type of, you know, they will give you some type of explanation if you're looking at the top 4 at least. But when you start looking below that, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, how did this change? Like, why is Felice Herrig still number 15? You know, how did Dern jump over Rodriguez? How did Aspen Ladd become number 3 in the bantamweight division? You know, all these crazy questions. I'm like, what the heck is going on, man? Like, how did Dern become number 3, and how is she still holding down the number 3 spot after being inactive? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. How did Jan Janan jump up so crazy? You know what I mean? Things like that. Like, I know Jan Janan fought some good fights, but did she really deserve to be at number 4? I don't know. Stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm in agreement with y'all. Like what you said, Mark, Rob. You know, silly rankings. Yeah. I mean, I could rank the fighters for you. You know, I could do it. I could match make all day long. I might even do the unranked fighters. Shoot, give me that job. I'll add in the unranked fighters. You know, let's go all the way to 25. High five to Marina striking is sharp, but her kicks will create damage. Dern is very dangerous on the ground. Marina has a long period to practice her takedown defense. Yeah, she stretched it out from July to October, which I'm completely in agreement with. So, yeah, I hope that's something she's been working on, you know, day and night. Carla deserves a title shot, Mark said, but if she doesn't get it, she should fight the winner of Rose Whaley. Problem is that may be a year away. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, should she wait, or should she fight another fight in between? I don't know. Yeah, Joanna should fight the Dern Rodriguez winner. I'd like to see that. Really, I would like to see that fight. That would be good. And if you haven't, I'll just put this up here. All right, there we go. And yeah, we got JJ Aldridge fighting Vanessa Demopoulos, you know, former strawweight. What do y'all think about that? Got a strawweight moving up to light flyweight. We got a strawweight moving up to flyweight, y'all. Strawweight moving up to take on JJ Aldridge. But I don't know. This fight could be interesting because, you know, Vanessa Demopoulos, you know, she is a solid ground fighter. But I still think of her as a 115-pounder, though. I don't know, man. I don't know if flyweight's going to be the greatest weight for her. What do y'all think about that fight? Vanessa Demopoulos and JJ Aldridge. Vanessa D-Mop. D-Mop has very good ground game. It was her striking that was really costing her a lot of fights. You know, D-Mop had some issues with throwing a solid jab. She's got a lot of issues throwing them jabs, so when you put her in there with a solid technical fight, Sam Hughes, until that freak comeback from D-Mop, Sam Hughes was winning that fight. She just got caught up into that trap, and she got latched on in that triangle. She gave D-Mop that chance, and D-Mop said, boom, the leg shot up, choked her out. That should have been, Sam Hughes' time to, just step back and kind of buy some time and just kind of step, take a foot off the gas and win the round. So, she's always dangerous in that factor, but that's at 115. Like 125, I don't know. Yeah, Mark. Mark. Carla's been doing all the work. Picking some marshmallows out of a box of Lucky Charms. High Five said Whaley's left hook is getting heavier. It will rock any of her opponents if it ever lands. I think she's gonna be very committed to use her ground game in her next fight. Well, I'm sure she was in the Rose fight. High Five. I'm sure she was committed to it, but you gotta get in the on the inside. And how do you do that? Defense. You gotta have defense when it comes to fighting Rose. You have to have defense. You got to be smart on getting in there. You can't stay on the outside against a long rangey fighter that packs power on the end of their shots. Rose is accurate. You have to be on the inside. You have to be in the pocket. You got to be in the phone booth. You have to fight her in the phone booth. That's the only way you're going to get that left hook going. Left hook look heavy, yeah. But you won't land it if you don't get on the inside. Can't dodge a few kicks from the outside. From the jump, you have to feint like Tyson and get on the inside. That was my issue with Whaley in the Rose fight. Right away, you can't let Rose set her feet. You can't let a boxer set their feet. You cannot let a boxer set their feet. Can I say it again? You can't let a boxer set their feet. Okay? You have to be in that chest from round one until you can stop them. Tisha Torres, Whaley, if Whaley's team listening, translate this. Watch the Tisha Torres fights. Watch the Tisha Torres fights. Because to me, in my opinion, Tisha won both fights. Watch both of those fights. And then just add your flavor to it, and you could probably stop her. Watch the Andrade fight. You can't be on the outside. You'll get pieced up. High Five said Whaley always mixed it up in takedown, but after her fight with Joanna, she seems like she liked to be a striker. Now she wants to go back to her previous self. I think she won't be more a striker. Yeah, she can't be a striker with Rose. You couldn't have been a striker with Joanna. Like, you had to be a dog in there with Joanna. Because Joanna was jacking that jaw with that foot, right, that foot to the jaw, So Rose figured it out early. So, nah, you can't strike with a striker. Again, shows you how good Tisha is for, what she brings to the table. Like, Tisha was never in trouble of getting stopped by Rose like that because she didn't give her that time. She said, I'm going to use my speed and I'm going to use the inside. Colton said, I want to see Sarge fight Miranda Maverick. It's not a bad fight. I like to see Sarge and that is a good fight though. I like to see Sarge and Jessica I though, since she called her out and she's a number 8. I think Sarge deserves to pick back up in the top 10 though. for sure. I was watching that Rose and Carla fight the other night, man. I was like, yo, Carla was doing work in that fight. Yes, sir. But anyways, y'all, it's an hour and 20. I'm about to get up out of here. Let's wrap this thing up. So I'm thinking, I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm gonna do a. Should I do a fight companion? Should I do a fight companion? Hey, Robert, at least I can stand by mine. There ain't no excuses. You can't say mine's excuses because Tisha won her fight. Tisha won her fight, and she won the second fight, in my opinion. You know, Tisha went 6 rounds with Rose. So hey. Yeah, Sarge has a lot of promise, Cole. I agree. Like I want her on point, man, with her weight. Fighters that I have some fighters I want to see grow and get some. I want to see Sarge get it. I do want to see Zhang Weili get it. I want to see Marina Rodriguez get it. You know, I want to see her make it up there. I want to see Tanisha Tennant get that. You know, there's some fighters I just like pull for. You know, I want to see Sarge make it there. You know, I want to see her get to the top at 125 and challenge Valentina. I really do. I want to see Sarge get there. Triple threat, of course. You know, there's just Amanda Lemos. You know, I want to see them all at the top fighting for it. For sure. But yeah, man, I don't know. Maybe Friday I'll do a fight companion for Invicta. I'm still thinking about it. Should I? Yes or no? What do y'all think? Fight companion? Should I do a live round by round of Invicta FC? Let me know. That's about what, nine doggone fights, 2 hours. Probably be on starts at 8, so I might be on till midnight. I don't know. I might. Y'all want me to or what? Yeah, but I like Weili though. Yeah, I like Weili though. I just want to see her get it right, man. Like no more excuses, you know, no more broken leg talk, no more crowd talk. You know, let's talk about redemption. You know, let's talk about kill mode. Let's talk kill or be killed. You know what I mean? That's all I want. Oh yeah, and shout out to BP for just subscribing. You know, I appreciate that. BP just subscribed. He was in here earlier. Appreciate subscribing, man. BP in the house. Oh man, yeah, Vanessa versus Lupita. That was like one of my fights of 2020. If Weili Joanna didn't happen, we'll forget that. Scratch that. They both were fights of 2020. They both were fight of the year. They put on a good show, for sure. I might go watch that thing tonight, man. But we about to ride out. Let's see. Mark said 115 is already stacked, so should Lemos move to 125? Oh, no, and absolutely not. I want to see them skills tested at 115, man. No, not at all, Mark. No, we need that. We need that Lemos at 115 for sure, because some people might be out the door. You know, with Joanna retiring, you never know what Rose might do. If Rose was to lose, she might retire. You don't know. Zhang Weili's kind of on the way down. No, man. Got to keep Lemos at 115 for now. I want to see them skills and that stand up at 115. High Five said Manon, Valentina, Whaley are my girls at champ material. No trash talk. Yeah, Manon. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Manon's. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, Gordon. Gordon Morris. I'm gonna drop a video for that, man. Yeah. Don't worry, man. I'm gonna drop a video for that. I won't give it to you now. I gotta watch a little bit more of Jennifer Hahn. Yeah, don't worry, man. That's coming. That's coming this week, cause yeah, that fight is on the 4th. So we're still a little bit of ways, but yeah, Gordon, I got you. I'm gonna do that. Katie Taylor got that fight coming up. You know I'm gonna watch it. So yeah, for sure. Got you on that one. I don't want to just drop a prediction right now. Let me go back and look at some. Just want to look at some fights again of Jennifer Hahn. Then I'll have your prediction. Maybe I'll do it this weekend. Yeah, I'll probably do it this weekend. Yeah, but yeah, let me get up out of here, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody coming through, new subscribers, appreciate that. High Five said Marina, no trash talk. During and E-Boss are faking sweetie wannabes. Wow. I like Duran though. I like Duran, alright. E-Boss cool, I mean. Everybody has their favorites though, you know, so I ain't gonna argue with that. That's you. I mean, they're not like my favorites, so. But let's ride out, y'all. Possibly I might be on doing a live 8 p.m. of Invicta. Maybe we'll watch it together, y'all. Yeah, I'm off Friday, so yeah, we'll see. All right, y'all. Yeah, shout out High Five. Appreciate it, y'all. Like always, make sure y'all subscribe. Combo Breaker 99. I am out. Subscribe. Peace.